The lights, the laughter, the lessons of Christmas. Some stories never fade. Christmas may still be weeks away, but A Christmas Carol is already warming the season. Jehan Aloysius returns to the stage with a fresh take on A Christmas Carol, reimagining the Dickens classic for modern audiences, blending theatre, movement and music to revive Dickens' enduring message of hope and transformation. He is on Kaleidoscope Dialogues today. What drew you to A Christmas Carol, a story that's been retold so many times, and why now?
Well, I've always wanted to create a new musical that would be a family musical. Some of my musicals have been a little bit cutting edge or dealt with strong themes, but I thought it's time to do something magical for the family. And it was close to Christmas 3 years ago, and my mom's name is Carol, so I wanted to create something for her. So A Christmas Carol is the perfect title and the perfect play.
So how did you reimagine this and put it into today's context?
What I found that in the novel was that I could expand on making the community more generous, not just Scrooge. In the novel, it is Scrooge who suddenly magically becomes generous after one night, and then he helps one family or two families. But if you can inspire the community to be generous and give back, that has there's continuity in that. There you can build a more community, a generous consciousness about poverty and equality and spreading the joy and spirit of Christmas and beyond just the season, you know. There have been several things that I think I connected with Charles Dickens himself and my life and the difficulties I suffered or went through, challenges, let's say, because we become stronger and we're thankful for those. But we come out of it and we realize we never forget. And not forgetting the community and not forgetting other people that may be going through those same challenges, that's important because we as writers and creators are the scribes of our times, and we have to use this art, whether it's a novel or a play, to inspire others to give.
Did you do anything differently from the conventional story?
The expanding on the Belle and young Scrooge story to bring out the romance in that scene, but also I think the more of a focus on young little tiny Tim, who I feel is so pivotal to the story, and I wanted him to grow and find something more than just money and survival. So I gave him the need to dance, which comes from my working with the soldiers and training the soldiers without limbs or those who do not hear to actually dance, but really taking the time to identify something that you can really help someone to grow with what they have and seeing the ability rather than the disability, that I think is far greater. So I thought it was important for me in my version to really build that relationship between Scrooge and Tiny Tim and talk about disability and the need to not just show empathy, but really to make an effort to change and adapt and be inclusive.
What guided your choice of actors?
If you cast the play right, almost 60% of the job is already done. They bring so much to the rehearsal, they nourish each other, they're also team players, we have less drama, we weed out the passengers and the stars and various people like that. And we also, I get a nice balance. I don't always only use the most talented. I always say if you're going to work with me, I would love to say that we're community theatre and we open the doors to the world, which we do. But I feel that ultimately on stage, those who ultimately work with me and I choose to mentor are those who are either exceptionally talented or exceptionally enthusiastic. With enthusiasm, even if your skills may not be as great as the others, you put that heart and soul into your work and you actually see growth, and that sometimes is much more exciting than someone who's already been on stage doing all these roles all their lives. Center Stage as a culture, we are 24 years old, Center Stage Production in my amateur theatre troupe, a culture of really supporting and nourishing each other and not competing. So we never have that competitivity in the cast. So casting is very important for me.
So this story is rooted in Victorian England.
Yes.
The actors you have are very young actors. How do you bridge that gap?
Well, we do lots of workshops. We do characterization. We did research into the era, which is most of the research that I did actually when I was adapting the play. When I adapt even Shakespeare or Charles Dickens, for example, I would be reading up on the era. the squalor that, Victorian England was not really marvelous. But we also have different social, classes in the play. And it was important for them to learn the different dialects, the kind of accent that Fred, Scrooge's nephew, would be speaking in his more, affluent home. And then the Cratchits in their humble home, the Cratchit the clerk. And then Scrooge, who is, hardworking, has come out of something, but is still, he doesn't aspire to be up there, but he does want to be successful and does not want to be in the darkest depths that he was.
What were the biggest logistical or even creative hurdles that you came across?
When I'm doing my plays, as many people have said, I have to wear many hats. I have to, not because I want to, but because I've realized that if I want to get the work done, because we do amateur theatre, and especially because we do original theatre, funding and which is the most important problem that we've had when we do original work, we have to pay back for the show over several stagings of it. I think the challenges also for me were that I was the producer also, so I had to push the marketing, and then I'm the composer, writer, and all these vocal coach, listening to the challenges, personal challenges that my cast, but I think we overcome those challenges, and we talk about theatre. Theatre comes out of conflict. It's a conflict between objectives and obstacles. I think you have to have an equal but opposite obstacle in order for you to achieve your goal ultimately and for you to appreciate it, because otherwise it's too easy.
How do you hope your local audiences, especially the younger ones, will relate to this very timeless tale?
It is a magical play with lots of young characters as well, and children. For the longest time, I've been doing a lot more adult theatre and youth theatre with plays like Reg. But this, like my Piramas and Thisbe, is a family show, but this is more of a family show because we've got little kids on stage as well. And it's been interesting for me also because I was not initially used to having so many kids around. But I think it's been a fantastic experience, and the magic, the special effects that we have in this show. We do have some beautiful costumes. We've got 8 workshops around Sri Lanka working on the sets and 4 workshops working on the costumes. We've never worked on such a grand scale before because we are humble original theatre troupe, and we are so glad that we've got amazing partners on this journey.
Let's look at English theatre. Are we evolving or are we stagnating?
There are young directors now who are really trying out new things, and there are some of the older, the veterans, if you like, who have been inspiring young people to be bold and to be original and to have a voice and an opinion. That said, it is a little bit difficult also when we have to change the mindset of our audiences, as well as young people who may for the longest time have believed that replicating or duplicating something foreign is the mark of great theatre. Theatre does not have to be massive. It needs to be real, and it needs to connect with people. Theatre is about a community. It is live, and you see people in front of you acting out and almost going through what they're going through, but in an oblique way we connect with them. But theatre was always a community to make people think obliquely about themselves, or in an abstract form. They may be animals or whatever, but then it is the society or it's politics or whatever it is. And it is a forum for interrogation, interpretation, and really to integrate the artists with the world and to make them think. As artists are lateral thinkers. We do this, but we're talking about this. And we stimulate people's minds so that there'll be debate and discussion rather than pushing a message and saying, this is what you should believe, this is what you should not believe. That's what we try to do, at least.
Good luck and a Merry Christmas to you.
Thank
and may
you.
all your wishes come true, Jehan.
Thank you.
Dive into Kaleidoscope across YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. Just follow, like and subscribe to never miss a story.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the